Alright, y'all. To say it feels good to be back is an understatement. Now, I actually miss Florida, so I won't lie to you there. But what I am referring to is just being back, being able to film with you guys. I have so much to share with you, so much I've learned, so much insight that I've been given, and having the ability to be mentored in that process. So I wanted to share with you just a very huge shout out to everybody that donated. God bless you. It really went a long way. Not just in my life, but I was able to sow into other students as well. I had 4 students that are ages 17 to 19 years old, and they all come from different backgrounds. We had students from out of state, we had students in Florida, so it just was a real blessing to be able to have that opportunity, and I thank you guys. And so today what I wanted to share with you is what I learned while I was away at this leadership intensive camp, right? And as you know, one of the biggest things that I wanted to do was to prepare myself before this meeting, before this leadership intensive, to really get right with myself and to work on the areas that I need to work on so that I can best serve and love those who I was trying to mentor. So the biggest thing that I had to prepare myself ahead of time was being vulnerable 100%. Being able to be open with somebody, being able to be transparent, right? Honest, open, transparent. We learned an acronym by one of the speakers there. He literally would walk up to you and be like, "You want to know something? You are hot. You are spicy hot." And there would be like a 14-year-old girl would be like, but what he meant is this. HOT is an acronym for honest, open, transparent. And we apply that to our lives every day, right? And so I remember probably a few months back, somebody mentioned the Enneagram test. I have mixed feelings, okay? I like personality tests just like anybody else, but to say you're there, but to say that you are this, just because you took a test and these skills and characteristics, you identify with them, blah, 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 whatever. It's kind of similar to me. It's like when people are like, "Oh, what are you? Oh, you're a Virgo. Well, you just like to clean, don't you?" Unfortunately, I do like to clean. That is one of my guilty pleasures. So whoever is seeing this, I cannot be helped. I enjoy cleaning, and if I have the chance, I will come over to your house and I will clean. So do not test me. But getting back to the subject at hand. I took the Enneagram and I am classified as a type 8. A type 8 is like this guardian / protector, right? And in essence, we don't mind conflict. In fact, we genuinely enjoy conflict, which I do enjoy a good argument sometimes. But we want to protect everybody around us, right? We want to protect our family especially. Like, we will die for our family. We'll sacrifice ourselves for our family. We'll sacrifice ourselves for our loved ones, for those we're in a relationship or a marriage with, right? But our biggest issue is because we have so much love to give and so much protection to give, we don't take care of ourselves. And as a result, our biggest weakness is we can't be vulnerable with people. We can't open up. I can take care of you and listen to all your problems, but I have a real issue opening up and being real and raw with you, right? So we lack this ability to be vulnerable, and it's such a freaking scary concept. Because you are going to see me for all that I am, inside and outside. And that terrifies me. And I really had to question why that terrifies me, right? So before this camp, and even when I got there, I went against everything in my body because I really just wanted to shut down and not share things. And I was holding out till the 4th or 5th day before I shared a little bit of my background, because I came from a broken home. But God, the universe, people had other plans, because by the 2nd day, I shared some really heavy stuff. And once that opened up, everything opened up. I was trying so hard to keep it down, just just be yourself, just be genuine, just keep to yourself. You don't have to share all these things. And I did, right? I opened up. And I'd have to say that it's probably one of the best things that ever happened for me. And so another thing that I learned while I was at this camp is how incredibly competitive I am. How I take charge of situations. How I can literally plow through people's emotions and feelings when I'm so task-oriented. And that's great for like careers and jobs. But when it comes to building friendships and relationships with either coworkers or a potential somebody in your life, we really got to work on that. And that's for me and for the men watching this, that really they want to be able to improve on themselves, right? They want to be that man, and they want to be able to open up. And I just want to share one other thing about that concept. So for me, my lack of vulnerability stemmed from having to grow up really quickly in a broken home and having to take care of myself a lot of times. And the other thing is I had so many unhealthy experiences with dating people, like going on dates, not necessarily relationships, but going on dates with multiple women, that it really just destroyed my view, my concept of what love is, and how people should reciprocate with each other and how people should communicate with each other. And so for me, I just completely got jaded. I shut down after I gave it my all, and I literally became like that bad boy, that player. And I'm thankful I'm not like that anymore, because I realized that was stemming from a place of not having validation, not having acceptance growing up in critical points in my life. But I realized that there was these current situations where I had to either take charge, and it could be beneficial or detrimental. And so there was a few scenarios. I had to get up for a scavenger hunt. I'll just quickly go over this. I had to get up for a scavenger hunt. My team was the first one there. We're extremely competitive. All my boys are. We got up super early, like 5 a.m. to get to the beach. And we're just chilling. And basically we had to wait because there was stuff not set in place for the scavenger hunt. And I literally lost it. I told people off. I started arguing with people. I started doing my own thing. My boys started doing their own thing. And because I didn't hold as a man, they didn't follow suit. And it starts with me because I'm the mentor, right? I'm the one that made the decision to act that way, to let my emotions get out of whack and not to have emotional regulation within myself. And so they're looking up to me and they're like, well, if he's doing this, then we're doing this. And there were some areas that I got influenced by these gentlemen, me almost being 24 now, by these 19-year-old men. And I think it stemmed from a place of acceptance. And it's like, well, we all want the same thing. We all want to win this game. So if we have to make some shortcuts, if we have to do this, and it's like, no, you can't do that. And so apart from this video, I just want to talk to you guys watching this. And my question for you is, how does a man lead? Not just in life, but in every aspect that he has to offer as an individual. How does a man lead? So a man leads through... What does a man lead through? A man leads through his actions. Perhaps you've heard, it matters not what you say, but what you do. The other old verbiage is, actions speak louder than words. There's a reason for this. So number one that a man does is he takes responsibility for not only his decisions, but others as well. Every shortcoming, whether it's his fault or not, whether it's this team's or whether it's this person's, that's still his responsibility. Because if you're ever in the military, if one person falls, they all fall. If one person screws up, they all screw up. If one person doesn't do push-ups, they all do push-ups. When I did wrestling in high school, we worked as a unit. If one man didn't complete the job, everybody had to do it. And you bet there was a lot of anger, but there was also a lot of passion, and a brotherhood formed from that unity. Number two, he literally uses God as his cornerstone of everything that he is. One of my biggest mistakes in a past relationship that I had was idolizing her and putting her on a pedestal before my direct will and my pursuit of God, what God wants for me. and we are both responsible for that. So I don't want to do that anymore. And one of the biggest things as a man is we have to look to that higher power, if you believe in it, right? As a means of how can I lead as a man? How can I be a better individual? And for those of you who are older, how can I be a better father? How can I be a better grandfather? It blows my mind that even like 40 to 60-year-old men are watching these videos. I'm literally 24 years old. It's so humbling to be able to have gentlemen with wisdom that I'm not even close to that age just willing to listen to me about these topics, because I really have lived through a lot, and my ultimate goal is to share them with you in the hopes that you do not make the same mistakes that I did. Number 3 is he leads by example, and he sets the tone with everything, especially with relationships. He lays the boundaries up front. A lot of you guys have issues with women overstepping things, overstepping boundaries because you never set them in the first place. One of the things that gets men in the friend zone, they never establish what they want. They're never direct, right? These men that lead, they're direct. If I want something, I'm going to go after it 100%. Believe you me. Number 4, and this is a big one. This is massive, right? Because if you get this is such critical information in your life. If you apply it to your life, you're going to go exceedingly far. You'll get promotions. You might even start businesses if you get this principle. And you want to know what that principle is? He respects everybody and is willing to serve others. Let me change it actually. He's not willing to serve others. He wants to serve others. He wants to be passionate. He wants to love on others. He wants to help them. If there's somebody who needs help with trimming bushes, he's not like, I'm going to go play a video game, like, screw this person. No, he steps out of his way. I don't care if he has an hour free time. He goes over there. That's how we minister to others. That's how we touch others' lives. And the other thing that I will say is if you read any book, especially like psychology books, I'm reading a book right now by Robert Greene. Men who do not want to be servant leaders are absolute tyrants. And ultimately, their quest for power and conquest will deteriorate their bodies, both physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, at some point in their life. Because it's vanity and they're chasing after the wind. And so, going back to the camp, I had to participate in some group activities. And I had to relinquish what I wanted to do as a person. And ask others for input. Which is so hard for me to do, right? Because all this time I thought I was an introvert. I might be an ambivert, which is like an introvert and an extrovert. People still can kind of drain me, but I realize it isn't people that I don't want to be around. It's jackass, stupid, moronic individuals that don't want to do anything with their lives. It was like such a revelation. I was like, oh my God, the veil's been lifted off. So when I understood that, life made a lot more sense. Another thing that men do is they apologize for their actions when they're incongruent. And part of that is I failed as a leader doing something during that activity, and one of my boys literally called me out. He said, Can I keep it $150 with you, is what he said. I said, sure. He said, you're not acting like a leader right now. A leader doesn't say, this isn't my problem. A leader takes responsibility for his actions as well as those around him. And bro, I had to take a seat back and I was like, I didn't know how that made me feel. It's different when your boys are calling you out on your pettiness, right? But here's the thing. Despite the intensity of all this self-healing, I was able to forge new relationships and network with people. I literally pulled myself out of my comfort shell and went into something completely foreign to me that absolutely terrified the living daylights out of me. And it was so good. I was able to be my genuine self. You know? we had like a rooftop dance, and I got to hang out with some people, and I got to spend some quality time with an individual, and it was like I was able to be myself. I was able to be 100% myself, free of restraint, free of worrying what others think about me. And just by doing that, I was magnetic, right? I'm on this rooftop dance party, and all of a sudden I have like guys dancing around me, older guys, and then I have these older women that are literally like hitting on me. Like, I kid you not, they were hitting on me, wanting to dance with me, and I'm like, what is this? Like, it felt like a cheat code, right? I was like, oh my God, what is this cheat code? What did I just unlock? It was me being my most authentic self with vulnerability, so you could see me as who I am rather than a performance of what I want you to see. And that was so like, it was such a revelation. Because how many times do we perform for others when in reality that's not even who our genuine self is? And how many times do we as men not lead when we're called to lead? I don't care what your background is. I don't care your religious background. We are called to lead as men in society. We are called to lead as men. And not to be tyrants, right? But to be servant leaders and to nurture, especially women. We are called to nurture women and to raise families, and to discipline our children, and to love one another. It doesn't seem that difficult to me, but society has like these blinders up that this is how it has to be. And if you are this way, you are just, you're different and you're dangerous. But it was just amazing. It was spectacular to be able to be myself. 100% myself. I never felt anything like it. And so I just want to tell you guys that each one of us deals with a part of ourselves that we want to hide from the world. But we're called to share that part of us because each one of us is unique. And I'm not trying to give you some sort of speech like, oh, here's a participation trophy. Here you go. Oh, you took last place. Here's a participation trophy. Not like that at all. You all are unique, beautiful, gifted individuals. And my goal for this channel, again and again and again, is to raise men. The Refined Lad is to raise men. Not men, right? Not men that abandon their child that they had with a woman because they want to go find themselves. Not men that can't provide for a family. Not men that can't hold down a job. But actual men that will lead into society. And so with that, I'm going to catch you in the next video. And I'll give you a sneak peek. We're going to talk about belief systems and vulnerability yet again. As always, hopefully this information was insightful to you. Stay frosty.